is a teaspoon, a full rounded teaspoon. It's not a tablespoon. If you make that mistake, you'll know you made that mistake within, about an hour. The rumbling down below. Well, hi, I'm John Hart and welcome back to Mr. Merica Heart. Today we're talking about the one supplement that almost everybody needs. I said need. This is not an issue of optional, just because you want to have a better look to your physique. This is having a better look to your physique as well as having improved health overall. Now, this sounds like the magic supplement. Well, I'm going to start by telling you that over the years, the supplement industry has taken quite a hit. As being an area or an arena in which you could get ripped off pretty easily. There's just a bunch of garbage out there, and there's a bunch of false claims out there. And because of that, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot over the course of the last 50 years or so. Well-deserved reputation. Let's just say that. Well-deserved reputation. A lot of people have, not just wasted their money, wasted their time, wasted their energy, and had a false belief system set up by the supplement industry in some supplements. But on top of it all, sometimes bad side effects happened. And that's just, it's an unregulated industry. So the government in our country, in the United States, the government is not, they've tried, but they're not, hands-on, right on in there, trying to, regulate every single bit, making all supplements high, ultimate, the best quality that they can be. So because it's been an unregulated industry for the most part, for the last 50 years, supplement companies, it's human nature, it's business, they got to make a buck, they've cheaped out and gotten real cheap ingredients along the way. So that's not what I'm talking about today, though. I'm actually talking with you about possibly the most researched supplement of all time, sports performance supplement, which also has great health benefits, and that would be creatine monohydrate, and preferably the micronized version of it. And what do I mean by this? Well, as far back as 1992, 1993, this supplement hit the marketplace, and when it did, it was brought out as almost this magic supplement. No one really knew much about it. That if you ingested it, and you ingested a decent amount of it to start, in other words, you loaded with a decent dosage, about 20 grams a day for 4 to 5 days, depending on your personal size. If you're a bigger person, a man about 6 feet tall, about 200 pounds, you're going to need about 5 days worth of 20 grams a day to 25 grams a day in that zone. And if you're a smaller person, 20 grams a day for 4 days did the job. What job did it do? Well, in the earliest studies, they found out that most humans were deficient or had low levels of creatine saturating their muscles. Now, the phosphocreatine cycle, energy cycle, I should say, is what we're talking about ultimately. But without getting stuck in the weeds too much about, the details that most people don't care about, I'm getting right to the answers, okay? And that is by loading on the creatine a decent amount in the beginning, it was discovered early on that the human body literally sucks it up so fast with extra water. You have to take in extra water. It sucks it up so fast, and there was an actual lean muscle mass increase that happened within 1 week. How much of an increase? Some people showed between 1 and 5 pounds of an increase of lean muscle mass. And that includes the water uptake. It was mostly water with the creatine, and of course a little bit of glycogen shoved in there with it, right in the muscle. Now, people say this for the last 30 years. I've heard people say comments like, well, I don't use creatine because it makes me retain water. Well, I don't use creatine because it just made me look fat. Well, I don't use creatine because it made me gain weight. Okay, all of those comments, all of them, you could throw out the window. And here's why. Science. This is just straight science. Okay, if you used the creatine and it made you gain any weight, that weight that you gained, with water of course, is the kind you want. It's within the muscle, not outside of the muscle. It's not on the surface of the muscle. It's not in your waist, around your belly button. It is inside of the muscle cell. You mean you have a bigger muscle cell because of it? Yes, that's number one. I'm handling that one right out the gate. So I negate, and I don't even listen to any of the comments from people who say things like, oh, it made me look puffy. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that the reason why it made you look puffy is you don't track your calories, you ate too much food, and you know what? Maybe even drinking too much water, because you do have to have an increase of fluid when you use creatine. If you don't, the one side effect is there will be some cramping or diarrhea. Let's say cramps, if you don't drink enough water. If you overdose on it, you can get diarrhea. That's about it. So other than that, unless you have a kidney disease, and most of us already know whether or not those situations exist. If you've had a regular physical, or if you have any undue swelling in your body, those situations would be apparent through that physical that you have. So get a good physical, verify that your kidneys are healthy, and you're good to go. That's the number one thing. I highly recommend, and you'll see even down in the video description, that I highly recommend getting a physical to verify that your organs are operating properly. And if they are, then there are no contraindications then to using this supplement. Doesn't matter your age. Oh, and the best part, why am I even talking about any age group? This isn't just athletes that are in their 20s, that are healthy and whole and in the prime of their life. This is not that. As a matter of fact, they give it to teenagers even. But I'm going to use as a reference in this video our beloved NIH, the National Institute of Health, right here in the United States, the trusted body of science, trusted authority on science, I should say, in our country. So the NIH, and I'll put the link down below, they even approve this supplement for all age groups, especially, here we go, here comes the elderly. What? What'd you say? Well, again, I'll leave it up to them in the words that they use. Cognitive dysfunction, sarcopenia are two specific situations that happen in the elderly. Sarcopenia being muscle wasting. Well, as people are getting older, if they're not using weight training, if they're not doing a decent amount of exercise, using their physique, using their muscles, then it's likely that they're going to have muscle wasting. The muscle's just going to say bye-bye because they don't use it. Sarcopenia, even in some people who do work out, I guess they don't do it intensely enough, but also it's just an understood situation that a lot of the elderly lose their muscle. And so countering that, creatine monohydrate, again, preferably the micronized version, and I'll put links down below for the preferred form of it. Creatine monohydrate has been shown to reverse sarcopenia. Reverse? Wow, this is magic. So we love this, right? That's number one. Not only that, but how about this? Reversing cognitive dysfunction, helping with cognitive dysfunction, assisting, improving cognitive dysfunction. I said all of those words because, well, they're all possible to a degree. So go ahead and take a look at the links. The link, at least, I'll have at least one on there from the NIH, but a simple Google search will pull up pages on the elderly and creatine usage. And again, I'll emphasize, this is not something new. This is a supplement that's the most researched supplement of all time. It's been around for over 30 years. It's been researched more than any supplement, sports performance supplement that's out there right now. So I'm going to go with that. Go with the science. Trust the science. So as you see this, you'll come to understand that, yeah, man, you should be feeding this to grandpa or to grandma, especially if there's any cognitive decline going on. Or maybe just using it as insurance. As long as the kidneys are healthy and the situation is fine, then yes, go along with that. Now, I also want to back this up by saying, don't cheap out. Don't buy crap on the internet just because it's cheap. Now look, we're looking for a specific type of creatine out there, the cleanest form possible, the one that all the studies were originally done on and used in these studies. Creapure is the German form of it. It's the cleanest version of it, and you'll see this label. I'll put the label somewhere up here in the air next to me, floating it up here. You're looking for that label, somewhere on the label of your creatine monohydrate, micronized preferably. You're looking for that Creapure label or stamp on the bottle. And I'll put, again, a link down below for a great product that uses Creapure as its sourcing. It's not my supplement, so I don't make these things, but I'm just going to give you an example of a great one that I would use, and I would use on clients, okay? So if you use the best that there is, we're talking about a cheap supplement anyway. Creatine monohydrate is possibly one of the cheapest supplements out there as well. So you're talking about saving a couple of dollars by cheaping out. But cheaping out, you won't get the best result. Get the best result by getting the best one that you could get. That's the way it is. So this is the way we roll. Overall, that's what the elderly can look forward to. An improvement in both the sarcopenia as well as cognitive decline, and we like that a lot. Now, also, the fun part is, among all of my reading, I found that they also have pointed towards use of creatine in the teenagers that are out there involved in any contact sports, that there's a potential of having any sort of brain injury. Why? Because they recovered much faster if they were using creatine. They had better brain health coming back from a concussion or a possible concussion or a hit to the head. They returned to baseline normal on all brain activity much faster and healthier with creatine supplementation than without. So I'm giving it to my teenager as well. Now, lastly, before I go, I've heard and read and seen a lot of y'all's comments, the bodybuilders especially that are out there, and those who lift weights already, that you don't like to do the loading phase. Okay, again, I'm going to emphasize, all of these studies were done, the majority of these studies were done using a loading phase of 20 grams a day for 4 days, maybe 25 grams a day for 5 days, or even 6 days in some cases, using the loading phase. As long as you have a healthy kidney going on, or healthy kidneys, this is not an issue. The loading phase was important. Now, a lot of you, the comments I've heard and read, go on about how, well, I don't like using the loading phase. It's too hard on the kidneys. Don't say that unless you've had a blood test and your kidney function you actually saw and actually compared a loading phase on your blood, a loading phase having had a blood test versus not using the loading phase and just using 5 grams a day, which is what you're saying. Over the course of a month, your muscles will saturate and fill up at 5 grams a day. I understand that. I understand that that's possible at 5 grams a day. It's not the same effect, though. Those of you out there looking for a little bit quicker hit, a little bit of a quicker reaction to your body, both in lean muscle mass as well as the cognitive, an improvement much quicker does happen with the loading phase. Within 1 week, you see a change, a positive change at that. Unless, I'm going to say one last time, unless you've had blood work proving that your kidneys took some sort of a hit or a strain under the load of a loading phase with creatine, don't say that it's hard on your kidneys. Don't say it. Okay? That's about it. So, creatine monohydrate, preferably micronized. Why do I keep saying that? Micronized means it's pulverized to its tiniest form. That means easier to absorb and digest, less likely to create a diarrhea situation. How's that sound? So I would like that a lot. I like that a lot. And in your case, you can consider that as well. So diarrhea is not a necessary side effect unless you overdose or take too much at one time. Follow the instructions on the bottles that you buy, and you'll see. They say teaspoon, the dosage, all at one time. A one-time dose, whether you're loading or whether you're doing it on a daily basis, is a teaspoon, a full rounded teaspoon. It's not a tablespoon. If you make that mistake, you'll know you made that mistake within, about an hour. The rumbling down below will let you know what's going on. That's it for today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Listen, before you go, off to my left, you're going to see that button pop up right there. That button is the subscription button to my channel. If you're liking the videos that I'm doing, please give that thing a tap. It'll let YouTube alert you when I have new videos pop up. Down below, you're going to see a thumbs up button. Will you please give this video a thumbs up? It also lets YouTube algorithm know that you're liking the videos that I'm doing, and it helps the channel out a lot. I look forward to seeing you next time.